Brooklyn ImmunoTherapeutics Inc, ticker symbol BTX, is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company. BTX stock is higher by 28.44% over the past week, up 4.69%, while the S&P 500 is down negative 0.09% as of 10:09 a.m. this morning. Now, BTX had its game-stopping moment back in April, rising nearly 20%. And within a month after the company arrived on the stock market, the stock went up 1,800%. And this fetal stage company suddenly had a market cap of nearly $2 billion. But can it make a GameStop type of comeback? Let's find out. Cue the music. Welcome to Money Talks, my midweek broadcast for Money Talks Sundays. It's your investment bro, Stevie B. You already know the rules. Shoot me a like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I want to give you guys a special shout out for making the podcast numbers double this week. I was looking at the metrics and I was pleasantly surprised. So thank you very much. Let's go ahead and keep that same energy going, keep that same love going. And as always, if you have a request, go ahead. Please drop it in the comments or send me a message, and I will definitely get back to you ASAP. Finally, go ahead and hit that support link in the description box, and we can go ahead and keep this thing trucking along, okay? All right, now moving on. If you haven't figured it out already, I have a thing for biotech, biopharma stocks. I've said it previously, I work in IT, in the IT field supporting a healthcare field. So I have almost an insider view, so to speak, on certain takeaways when it comes to these type of stocks. And today I want to talk about BTX, or Brooklyn ImmunoTherapeutics Inc. Now, earlier this year, I jumped in on this stock and I made $300 in that first 30 minutes and I bounced out. I bought several hundred shares. It went up. I sold and got out and kept my profits. It pulled back after me selling. It pulled back, and then it went on another bigger run. I missed part of that run, but I did jump back in on it. But then after a while, it collapsed again under the weight of the short squeeze. Now, since then, I have been monitoring, and occasionally I have been buying up some more shares in anticipation of another rally. But is that rally coming is the question. Now, let's look at how BTX actually got started. Now, that first short squeeze started off with a Bloomberg article on April 6th, and it happened for a number of reasons. One, BTX had a super ultra float, just about 1.12 million shares in March when it first launched. Its precursor company, NTN BuzzTime, had a high short interest, and although there was absolutely no relation between the two businesses, that short interest carried through. And finally, Wall Street bets. It's been popularized this year. It's been in the news this year many times in regards to GameStop and AMC and the whole Robinhood shenanigans. Well, Wall Street bets and other retail social media hotspots were abuzz with an interest in squeezing this biopharma tech stock. Now, on April 5th, 2 million shares of BTX were traded. The following day, that number jumped to 44 million. All these things came together to give BTX that tremendous boost. That rocket launch had absolutely nothing, however, to do with the actual company's development profile or fundamentals. Those fundamentals, the profile itself, have been referred to as terrible at its best. So the company was very low on cash when it first launched. And based on just the science, the management, or even the fundamentals, seems like nobody even cared about BTX starting off. Now, out of nowhere, and with the help of publicity from the Bloomberg article, people started taking notice, including retail investors that frequent the Wall Street Bets Reddit forum. Now, the smart thing that the company did was to take advantage of the popularity and take advantage of the squeeze to issue and sell additional shares of its own. Within 2 weeks of the start of the squeeze, they entered into an agreement with Lincoln Park to sell $20 million worth of freshly issued shares to them. A month later, they went back and amended that agreement to sell $40 million worth of shares. This raised the cash reserves the company desperately needed to keep moving, and while adding to shares outstanding and eventually to the float. Now currently, shares outstanding are 42 million and the float is at 28 million. Now as far as for the company itself, the biggest development for the company has been the $125 million deal to acquire Novellus Therapeutics. The deal consists of $17.4 million in cash and $107.6 million in BTX shares. Now, using cash from the Lincoln Park deal, BTX also acquired 25% of Novocyte, which is a company that's focused on bringing an allogenic mesenchymal stem cell product to patients with ARDS. I said allogenic. But will it make a comeback? That's still a question. Is it going to rally? Can we expect another GameStop type move, run with BTX? Well, first of all, the short squeezes aren't easy to do. Well, short squeezes are easy to do with tiny floats. And that's what BTX was when it first came out. And tiny floats are defined as floats below 15 million shares. And at 28 million now, BTX really doesn't meet that standard. Second, NTN Buzztime developed a high short interest because of its business started having problems with the arrival of the COVID-19 pandemic. In other words, the business was flopping. BTX, on the other hand, it quickly took its business to a near respectable position with a pipeline that, although considerably looking padded, it looked stronger every day. So you would say it's consolidating. Now, there's nothing left here for shorts now insofar as the business itself is concerned. Although it hasn't veered all the way to the multi-bagger long side, BTX is gaining respectability, and short sellers avoid respectable companies. They're not looking for good, solid, strong companies. Short sellers want companies that are floundering, that look like they will fall, that they will fail, because of course that's what you do when you short sell. Now, as a result of these developments, Wall Street Bets and others have moved on to other names in biopharma, and BTX is no longer a buzzword. Nobody's checking for BTX anymore. You don't hear it. You don't see it on the platforms. You don't see it on the forums. You don't see it on YouTube or on your Google alerts. Nobody's really talking about BTX anymore. You have to actually look for it. Now, this all has been due to astute moves by the company management to improve the profile by taking advantage of the short squeeze. So to answer the question again, do we expect another rally with BTX? Well, it doesn't appear promising that BTX will see a short squeeze anytime soon. The stock is expected to stabilize anywhere between $8 and $10 and become an early stage biopharma that everybody's just going to forget about for the next couple of years until something major comes out from the company. Most of BTX is in the development stages except for IRX-2, which is a human cell-derived cytokine therapy in phase 2B development in head and neck cancer. They also have an exclusive license from Factor Bio and Novellus for an mRNA gene editing cell therapy platform. Now, such developments are a dime a dozen. They come a dime a dozen in this biotech world, and normally it doesn't command much market valuation or attention. And there really isn't a huge pressing demand for anything that BTX is attempting to put out to the market, like in the case of VXRT and their COVID vaccine pill or other norovirus pills. Now, I personally do not rate BTX a strong buy right now. I do, however, believe it is a good enough stock to buy in and hold on over the long term just to see if they can get on their feet. So mind you, I'm not saying to go blow your money right now. Don't waste your time putting too much down in a short period of time. There is no rush right now when it comes to this stock, at least not yet. Buy in increments and wait it out. Give it enough time and they will come up with something that will bring it back into the forefront. But until then, keep that little nest egg under wraps. buy little at a time over a period of time, and as they start getting their move going and you start continuing to build your position, then you'll be able to start making some real moves. Now, that's all I really have for BTX. I am still invested in it. Yes, I'm not letting go of those shares yet. I've purchased a few more shares within the last month every time it dips, just to build a stronger position for its inevitable rise. It is not on my short-term radar. I will wait and see what the company does and go from there. I do plan, once I reach a certain level, maybe my price target will probably be $45, $50, maybe even $100, depending on what the future has in store for BTX. I will then offload all those shares and sell, because BTX is not paying any dividends anyway, so there's no point for me to hold on to it any longer than I have to. So anyway, thanks for tuning in to Kathy S. I promise I'm gonna do metamaterials. It's coming up next after this one. Actually, I've been getting my intel on it. I've been doing my research, and so much so I even opened up a position in metamaterials because I like